Fresh Fixers. We're back at it again. Another episode up and loading. I'm pretty sure you can see there's a whole lot of details today, hey? In the studio. It happens. But today, I am joined by none other than a prestige guest. Hey, man, like when I actually checked out this guy, hey, he has a whole lot of things in his bio. You know, multi-winning, award winner, speaker, Mr. SA Top finalist. Yeah, that's right, guys.
Yeah.
So here, I might be chilling with what SA considers as one of the best, beauty standards for men. We're gonna get the blueprint as it says. I'm joined by Mncedi Koboka. How are you doing, man?
Yo, man, thank you so much for having me, man. I'm amazing. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine, man. Hey, it's really nice having you in the studio, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, dog, it's vibes all the way.
Yeah.
Vibes all the way.
Hey, bro, you look way tall in person.
I am, yeah, and people are surprised. And I thought, like, I appear tall in my pictures, but clearly I don't. Because we're like, oh my God, are you this tall? You look so I'm like, but I am tall. Like, do I not look tall in my pictures?
You're making us feel short. And you know what's the whole connotation around being a short nigga, man? Like, we don't like that.
Short niggas have it bad, bro.
really bad, Yeah, but guys, before we get into it, I'd like to give a short shout out to Ashley Maimani for the dope custom made hoodies. You can see I'm wearing one. So this guy just customizes hoodies, and they're pretty dope, man. I think you can have your own customized design, but I'll actually put up a sticker as usual so that you can see where to find him and how to support him. All right, his students his prices are quite student friendly, so let's show love and support, guys, to our fellow student entrepreneurs. And yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this one. Yeah. But getting straight to it, man. Who is Mncedi Koboka?
Sure, I struggle with that question so much, my brother, because there's so much to me.
Yeah.
But Mncedi Koboka is basically someone who's hardworking. I'd like to think I've got a sickening work ethic. I am a model, a social activist, a Thuli Madonsela Foundation ambassador, a radio presenter, a model, RSA King of Kings. I am a multi-award winner.
Yeah.
And a public speaker, a mentor, and I think all-around lover of people. Yeah.
Man, you're the first one to actually ask that question quite elaboratively. Damn, bro. Yeah, that's really good. That's a whole lot. So, Mncedi, like, I want to know, man, what really, like, inspired the passion to actually start doing modeling?
Sure. So, my low self-esteem did, which is crazy because I think I was in grade 9. Back then, I've always wished to be light-skinned.
Oh, yeah.
I hated being dark-skinned with a passion, bro. Simply because people would make snacks jokes about you. Hey, dog, and then I even remember in grade 8, one of my high school teachers called me the Midnight Shadow.
For real?
I promise you. Ever since then, I was Googling how to bleach my skin, how to be yellow bone, all these things, because I hated being dark skinned, man, and because society deemed a handsome gent light skinned. Do you know what I mean? And also following to the perceptions of what society deems as the beauty standard of men.
Oh, yeah.
I hated it. I hated being dark skinned. But I think the change came in grade 9 when all of a sudden, hey, a man must be tall, dark, and handsome. I'm like, hey,
the ball is in your court now.
Yo, dog. I'm like, yo. And it was so crazy because it literally happened like overnight, bro. Now all of a sudden, people are like, I'm like, hey. So it literally, I think from then I started to understand that let me not let society define what the standard of beauty is for men.
Yeah.
Let me be my own definition of it. That's when I started embracing being dark. I called myself dark chocolate, dark chocolate, because it's pasta plus chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, man, ever since then, I'm like, yo, man, I think I'm actually starting to fall in love with myself. Not just the appearance of myself, but the inner me as well.
Oh, yeah.
And people always be like, oh, do you do modeling? Are you a model? Are you this? Are you that? I never wanted to model. I was so shy in front of a camera. I'm not going to lie to you. I've become so awkward and how do you pose?
How do you pose?
Yo,
which pose is
bro,
best?
hey, dog. But I think it took some time, to be honest. It took some time. I was so nervous around the camera.
Yeah.
I couldn't be myself. Do you know what I mean? But I think there was a point in time where I'm like, no, dog, like, let's do this. If people can see this in you, then there's something there. Let's harness it. Let's grow it. That's when I started doing research on modeling and all of that. But I officially started doing modeling after high school. This was in 2017.
2017.
And ever
My
since
first year in university then.
Really? Oh yeah. So ever since then, I was just like, okay, let's see what this modeling thing does, or what's it about, you know. So I started doing my research, how to join an agency, what is needed, and all of that. And at the time, my friends were very supportive. Like, nah, dog, go do it, go do modeling and whatnot. And to join a modeling agency, you need like a registration fee. At the time, I didn't have anything. My mom had lost a job then. This was 2018 now.
Good, man.
And I had no way of doing things. Do you know what I mean? Eventually, I got scouted to join an agency, but I didn't like how they ran things, you know.
Oh yeah.
So I decided to apply to another modeling agency, and I got taken, and I had to pay the registration fee, and I didn't have it. Flip, and I'm like, yo, how am I gonna do this now? So now I'm texting my friends. I'm like, hey, but I need like $300, guys. Like, let's make the pot happen. Because I'm not next, dog. You know, my friends came together, and came out, and I'm like, let's go. And literally from there, dog, got inside, did my portfolio shoot, and yo, man, it started like that. You know, started getting casting, started getting auditions, and I'm like, yeah, let's push. And then I think from there, that's where my confidence started going up in terms of being a model. You know, also I never wanted to dress myself as a model because I felt like I did not look enough like a model.
Depending, given the standards of what the model is. Okay,
exactly. And I'm like, yo, I'm not as dark, I'm not as skinny, I'm not as tall. Because you go to castings and you see niggas who are like this tall. And you know, being a tall gent, dog, I'm so used to being the taller person or the tallest person amongst my friends or peers or wherever it is that I am.
Yeah.
Now you get to casting, you see niggas who are like yay tall. I'm like, hey, you know, you'd find these niggas that are younger than you. I'm like, hey, don't look at me. Don't look down on me. Imada, stand there. And then you look at me, you know. But yeah, man, ever since then, man, it's been a joy, man. I fell in love with modeling. I fell in love with me being a model. And now today I can confidently call myself a model. Yeah.
All right, now, but before we move on, I want to know, if you were to actually like tell fellow youngster out here, because I'm not gonna lie, the same problem you have, the self-esteem thing, is still currently happening as you speak.
Very true.
You know, there are a whole lot of people maybe looking at other people. Damn, these niggas are that and that and that. How do you actually like find comfort in your own skin?
How do you find comfort in your own skin? My word. I think it's a combination of knowing yourself. You can never be comfortable in a place that you don't know. Ever.
Okay, fair enough.
Comfort comes with a place of knowing where you are. And you can't be comfortable in your skin if you don't know who you are. So the first thing you need to do is embark on that. Know who is Mncedi, who is Nick, who is whoever you may be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and once you get that, and once you understand who you are, you start to play on your strengths. You know, there's a thing that we call a situation analysis or SWOT analysis. So you need to draw a list of what are your strengths. What are your weaknesses? What opportunities do you have within whatever industry it may be in? What are the threats that are there? You know, once you understand that within yourself, you can then go out there and do a killing, bro. Because now you're working on the basis of your strengths. And when your weaknesses come, you're like, okay, let me find the time to educate myself. Let me find the time to get a mentor who can help me who can help me improve on my weaknesses.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're increasing your strengths and your opportunities at the same time. You know, so yeah, man, that's what I would say to someone who would want to fall in love with themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that SWOT analysis based on LO.
It's out there throughout life, bro. Throughout life.
Literally. Man, that's some powerful advice. Yeah, but okay, tell us more about Young Leaders of Tomorrow.
Young Leaders of Tomorrow, man.
You co-founded that, right?
Yes, alongside my twin brother, Mncedi Koboka.
Oh yeah, his twin brother's in the studio.
And he's in the studio. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So,
shout out.
Young Leaders of Tomorrow, it's quite a lengthy story of how it actually came about. In 2014, my twin brother and I were awarded the Leaders Youth Heroes Award. And this is an award that takes place throughout the country. I don't know if it still happens now, but the people heading it up is Prime Media. Prime Media is your 702, your 947, Cape Town Talk, and all these other radio stations. Right? So what they do is they do that to acknowledge people who do amazing things in their societies. Right?
Yeah.
So what you do is you apply, you get shortlisted. From shortlisted to interviews, then you get chosen. And So how we won that was that we helped the guy who got shot. This was when we were only 15. And my brother and I are doing first aid. We loved first aid with a passion. You know, medicine runs in the family for that matter. You know what I mean? And we're walking one day to Eastgate and we come across a drive-by shooting. It was a robbery, actually. And so what happens is my twin brother's way in front. I'm chilling behind with the gents. He's just walking in front, talking to other people as well. And we see everything go down, bro. But now there's a tree that's covering my view, so I don't see where my brother is. And now we see literally people pop out of the car with guns, start shooting at a car, bruh. And then they open the boot, they take out a couple of bags, they jump in their car and then they leave. I am stuck, frozen. Because I'm like, where's my brother? Did they shoot him? Because you know, you watch movies and you're like, yo, they don't want any loose ends. They don't want any loose ends.
Yeah, no witnesses, bro.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like, yo, what if he's a witness? But we all are, because we all saw it. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yo, dog. So, I literally ran down and the car is still there. Those people who were shooting are still there. But I'm running down to go and see if my brother is safe, dog. If he hasn't been shot. Because now I'm going to get home and say, yo, he got shot. Where was I? Do you know what I mean? So I'm running down, and as I'm running down, the car that was shooting at the other car drives by. And now we get to the car, and I see the other car, and there's a guy in the passenger seat who's out bleeding. There's blood everywhere, my brother. And he's not moving, he's not saying a single thing. And because we did first aid and we know what to do, we did not even exchange a single word, bro. And we started treating the patient. And we'd walk around with equipment, bro. We'd walk around with
so weirdly enough, you guys actually like came to come and check out.
Literally, dog. Literally. And then we started assisting the guy on scene. Next. So we started assisting the guy on scene and we start doing first aid, right? A nurse comes through and she's like, oh, you guys are doing so well. Where did you guys learn this? But now we can't answer these questions because now there's a life that needs to be saved. Do you know what I mean? And we're calling ambulances and they come through, they assist as well, and we go home, fine and fair, everything goes back to normal. Because this was what we're supposed to do. We're helping someone, and this is a passion. It's not a thing we did it because we want recognition. No. The next day at school, the ambulance services that were on scene come to our school. And they're like, yo, there's these two boys that were helping at an accident scene yesterday. Would like to meet them. They call us to the office. We meet these paramedics. Like, oh no, you guys did well. Where'd you guys learn this? Like, no, we learned it here at school. They teach us first aid and whatnot. Like, what you guys did was amazing. Thank you. If it had not been for your efforts, that person probably would have like died. Damn. You know. And one of our teachers saw that thing that was happening and saw us treating that patient, right? Yeah. And told other teachers, and then one other teacher nominated us for the Leader Youth Hero. We knew nothing about it. We only found out when we actually got chosen as the winners for Leader Youth Hero.
Oh, you didn't even know that you're nominated?
We didn't know,
nothing.
Dude, like nothing, bruh. This guy from Leader Said, Tiamon Ndlovu, who is still like a big brother to us till this day, man. That guy, yo, man. He comes wearing a Bafana t-shirt, a jean. He's like, he's from Prime Media. I was like, the chap is lying. He's lying, bro. And he's like, no, for real. And we go outside and we see the car. There's a car branded 702.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, no, maybe this might be the real deal. And he's like, he needs us to go with him so we can shoot a promo for our interview, Xolani Kwala at the time.
Okay.
We go, this is so confusing. We don't know what's happening, bro. Like, we still don't know what Leader Say is, what's going on. We get to Prime Media, we meet all these radio stars, dude. And it's like, what? And I'm like, and I couldn't hold myself. One thing about me back then, I was a shaker, and I'm shaking, and I'm trying to hold myself, bro. But he's so chilled, he's so calm about it.
Since he comes across as that guy,
he's that guy, dog. He's so chilled about everything. And we then meet Anele Mdoda, Xolani Kwala at the time, and we get into a booth and we start shooting our promo. Hi, I'm Mncedi Koboka, and hi, I'm Mncedi Koboka. We're Leader Youth Heroes of the month October, and at the time, I didn't listen to radio as much. And it starts airing, I think, 2 days later. And people are like, oh, I heard you guys on radio. And I'm like, what? On radio? Which radio? And I remember, we actually shot a promo for the interview, you know? And literally, I think for 2 weeks straight, people are like, oh, I heard your interview. I heard you on radio and whatnot. So the build-up, now everyone in school knows we're going to be interviewed by Xolani Kwala. And that day comes, and we have an interview with Xolani Kwala. And that's where I fell in love with radio.
Oh, that's where the passion for
That's
it
where the
starts.
passion came
Okay,
through,
okay,
you know?
okay.
And that's where everything came through, because we were recognized for doing something out of a passion and not out of recognition.
Oh.
And we're like, what else can we do to help young people? Because that's where the passion was, helping young people.
Okay.
What can we do as young people to help other young people? Let's start our own organization. You know, again, not for the recognition, but for that satisfaction that, yo, we helped save someone. You know, that's where Young Leaders of Tomorrow came from.
Okay.
Sis and I came together, like, let's have an organization, and Young Leaders of Tomorrow came by. First it was Young Leaders of Change, but then we quite didn't like it that much, like Young Leaders of Tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't have that thing, you know, that thing. Yeah, man, Young Leaders of Tomorrow came about like that. And from then, man, we're just discussing, like, how can we go up? We knew nothing about starting an organization. We knew nothing about NPO work, nothing at all. And we're like, we're going to do trial and error style now.
Trial and error style.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of makes me remember, I checked out something, then you have this saying that you love to say it. Starts something as like, do it while you're broke,
yes,
do it while you're something.
Broke, do it tired, do it exhausted, do it alone, do it scared. Because at the center of it all, fear cripples people, bro.
Yeah.
Fear cripples people to a point where people don't even want to think about starting their own thing because of that fear. What if I might fail? I don't have money. I'm tired. I've got so many things going on. Regardless of what's going on, do it broke, do it tired, do it alone, do it frustrated, do it every sense, dog. Regardless of what's happening,
And
just do it.
And that's the funny part about it, because I feel like as people, the moment you're born, you always have the thing that I'm going to succumb to the inevitable death.
Yeah.
That alone is a failure of life.
True, exactly. You
So
know,
why be afraid of anything else?
That's my thing, bro. That's my thing. You know?
Damn, yeah.
And from then, I even live by that quote, bro. Like till today, I still live by it. Regardless of whether I'm broke, I'm tired, I am alone, I am scared, I am confused, I will do it nonetheless. Because if I stay planning, if I stay thinking, it's never going to happen. Because it's the planning and thinking phase. But if I start to execute it, I can learn from that. I can learn from the mistakes. I can learn from the small wins. I can learn from everything. And the most important thing is networking. Finding young people who are in the path of, or a similar path. You know, and network. They know people that might help you. You know people that might help them. And if you guys come together, you guys could create magic with each other. And that's exactly what we did. We met other young people doing amazing things, and we went to a networking session, and we networked. And till today, those people that we met back then, this was in 2018. We still are friends with them today. They're friends now. Do you know what I mean? Back then, they were just like possible partnership things, you know? Because these are young people who also have their own things, and they run them in such a way that you're like, yo, I want to do this as well. You know, I want them to teach me how I can do this, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Speaking of which, so how does one become part of the Young Leaders organization?
Sure. So currently, because all the members within YLOT are busy with their own things, life as well, school, work, and all of that. So we've quite taken a break from it, right? Okay. But we are planning on coming back to it, you know, because at the center of it all, passion is passion, bro. And you can't rest when your passion is still burning. You know, so regardless, and COVID as well had an effect on that. With so many events planned, COVID came through and done. It just went silent, bro. Like the events we had to be put on the shelves because of COVID. We didn't know when lockdown was going to end. Our sponsors, some of the sponsors that we had, retrenched people and they got sacked, and now we don't have sponsors. Now we need to start all over again. And you know, eventually, like, yo, this is tiring, Buffett. To like, let's take a break a bit, bro. You know what I mean? But yo, man, I think from next year starting on, we've already been in discussions as to rebranding as well, why not? And doing things that we would have loved to do back then, but starting it afresh, starting from experience now, not starting from scratch, starting from experience.
So is it the more or less like we find you rather than you find us?
Definitely, yes. Yes. Because I think the most important thing, bro, is finding people who are going to add value to whatever it is that you do. The worst thing you can ever do is be or have people who are there or who are parasites, who are there to suck from you, who are there to suck from your organization, who are there to suck from your hustle. Whereas adding value to it for a common cause that we all have, and that is for bettering the lives of young people out there. Hence, young leaders of tomorrow. People ask us, why not today? We're like, no, we're building a better future for tomorrow. Today. Exactly. So that's why we future tense, always for tomorrow.
Damn, bro. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot, eh? It's more than a mouthful. All right, so now we come to, because in one of your bios you mentioned that you're an activist. So I wanted to understand it from your perspective, right? What is activism, and also what does it mean for somebody who says that I'm an activist?
An activist, as the word says, active.
Okay.
You are active in a social cause that you're either passionate about or that is close to your heart, right? So it can be many things. You can be an activist within the health side of things. You can be an activist within the business side of things. You can be an activist in social justice and so many aspects of activism. Activism is so broad that you can't box it into one context. But basically an activist is someone who on a day-to-day basis is actively trying to either bring awareness, to educate, or to make a change in whatever area it is that they're activist for.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question, because I just wanted to understand, like, what were your thoughts on what you call social media activism? You know, with this whole connotation around being repost if you are blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Does it really like help the cause, or is it just like a way for people to just be like, shit, okay, now they're putting me in a dark spot, so that I don't want my people thinking otherwise. Let me just do it. But now,
true.
Yeah, what's your take on that?
So I call it pseudo-activism, where people are social media activists. They are going to act like, I'm an activist for this and this and this, but it only ends on social media. Do you know what I mean? Stops there. They don't do anything outside of social media. Do you know what I mean? But the key point is not everyone's on social media, bro. Not everyone has you on their social media platforms.
True.
Do you know what I mean? So the key thing is going out there to the streets, going out there to people to create that activism, to create that awareness, to inform, to educate people about that certain issue that you are an activist for. Do you know what I mean? Retweeting, sharing things doesn't make an activism. Doesn't.
Finally, somebody said
it has to be said, bro. It has to be said. Just because you're reposting things on social media doesn't make an activist. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you.
Being an activist is a thing you have to live day in and day out, because these are people's lives. You can't say I'm an activist because I share things about mental health awareness, whereas there are people going out there and having mental issues, and you are just sharing things
really
on social media.
Making
Do you know what I mean?
change,
Out
like,
there. Do you
out
know what I
there
mean?
in
Some people
person.
are even making change outside of social media. You won't
won't
find
even
people
know
on
it.
that's my thing.
Exactly, yeah,
Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? So that's my thing, where we need to be active citizens of the country. So activism for me is just active citizenship, where we go out there and we're active citizens in ensuring that we deal with societal ills. We deal with bad things that are happening within society, where we as a person, regardless of what you have, regardless of your background, where you can come with your 2 rand and say, I'm willing to make a difference with this.
Yeah.
Regardless of where it gets me, regardless of how small it is, we're not here to shoot big or whatever the case is, but we're here to help the next person. And I always tell people this, is that if I can get through to just one person, I've done my job. Done my job. Because at the end of it all, it is impacting the next person.
Exactly.
That person could impact 2 more people. 2 more people could impact 4 more people. So it's literally a thing where we create a domino effect. I help you, you help others. Do you know what I mean? So I don't help you for the recognition. I don't help you for me. I help you so you can help others. So it's like giving a person the tools to help themselves rather than giving them the fish or the solution. Give them the tools to help themselves so they don't depend on you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you on that
Yeah.
part. You seem very big, bruv, when it comes to mental health. Like, I can't help but kind of want to know that something really happened in the past, bruv. No, I won't lie. Like, I hear you as you're talking,
Yeah.
bro. You actually like placing a strong emphasis on mental health.
That's the hill I'm willing to die on. I am not Mandela, but I'm willing to get arrested for mental health. I'm willing to.
It's that important, man.
It's that important to me. It's very fundamental. And I think that light bulb moment came in high school, where I knew nothing about mental health. People, I don't want people to think, yeah, I'm an expert. No, I knew nothing about mental health. My twin brother was diagnosed with depression. And I didn't believe in that. I was like, depression's for white people. When are you read too many books? When are you watch too many movies? You know, this is, dog, relax.
And it's a sad connotation that we have in black families and
literally,
black communities,
bro. Literally,
like,
that is the problem till this day, that we tend to demonize, we tend to stigmatize mental illness. So in high school, that moment came for me when some girl came to me, she's like, yo, dude, your brother's bleeding. And I'm like, he's bleeding? Bleeding where? What's going on? They're like, no, like I saw him bleeding on his wrists. And I'm like, oh my God, shit. Is he trying to commit suicide? What's happening? And I run to wherever they say he is. I get there. And me being me at the time, arrogant as hell, I'm like, why are you doing this? You're ungrateful. You're gonna kill him. Bro, come on, bro. Damn. This is movie things. And I'm shouting at him literally, bro. And he's like, he mentioned something to me and he's like, this is exactly why I don't talk about it. Because you are going to say things like this. That's where my turning point was. And I'm like, how could I have been so ignorant that my own twin brother was at suicide's door, where he was willing to commit suicide at school? You know, people commit suicide behind closed doors. This gent was willing to do it at school in front of millions of other, or hundreds and thousands of other kids.
A whole lot of factors going on.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, this is not it, bro. We speak to my aunt, my aunt speaks to my mom gets us the help, the therapy sessions that he had at the time. So we went for individual and family sessions, right? That's where I learned about mental health. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy, bro. How many people in our school alone are feeling the exact same way that he is? How many people in other schools as well are feeling the exact same way he is? How many people in the region of schools are going through this? Now, how many people in the province are feeling like this? Now, let's take it to the country, nationwide. How many people are feeling the way that he is? That's why I'm like, mental health is the key. Is the key. And one day in our life science class, we tore pages out of our life science books, we wrote messages of encouragement.
Oh, yeah?
You're not alone. If you are suffering in silence, speak out. And we took pictures of those. We put them on social media. It went viral. We got interviewed by newspapers, television, radio about that. And I'm like, actually, this is where we should be focusing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I almost lost my twin brother. How many people have lost their siblings because they didn't get that sign or that moment, but actually, this is a serious thing. Do you know what I mean? So I took it upon myself to educate myself about mental health, mental illnesses, and how we can go about spreading awareness as young people, because young people are going through this, you know? And that's how I became close to mental health. And then years down the line, we eventually would skip out of school because we had a suicide hotline, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like, if you are feeling suicidal, call us. Call us and we'll talk about it. We'll help you with it, you know? People call us at 3 a.m., my brother. 3 a.m. Like, yo, I want to kill myself. I'm not doing this anymore. And that time we said, you're gonna commit suicide and you have to wake up and you have to start being there. Do you know what I mean? And no, but for real, bro, this was a problem. Yeah. And to a point where we stopped going to school because we're waiting on a phone call of anyone who's suicidal. We'd sit literally at a table like this waiting for a phone call.
And since you're somebody who's actually like been in the field of doing all these things on an everyday basis, like what are the near attempts or messages or calls you might get?
So at the time, this is before COVID now, right? Yeah. On an average, we had like 16 calls a day. 16 calls a day.
Yeah. And
we would not go to school because we're waiting on it. We're waiting on like the calls. Do you know what I mean? And the worst part was people would call and you never, because you don't know who these people are. They don't tell you my name is what, I'm going through this. They're just like, hey, dude, I'm committing suicide. And now you have to talk them out of it. Do you know what I mean? And that's why we're like, school is going to disrupt us. We need to help people us. We stopped going to school, bro, because we're waiting on calls. Do you know what I mean? But on an average in South Africa, about 200 and something people, this is before COVID, would attempt suicide in a day. Post-COVID, there's about 400. It's doubled. Now, about 400 people attempt suicide on a daily basis. And
means of escape.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that became so hard for us, where we were like, no, man, let's actually do something. To a point where we started burning out. We hated the world. To a point where, because, you know, people tell us stories like, oh, no, like my mom is abusive, she's this and that, and oh, my friend, my brother, it's like, I hated people, bro. Because I'm like, who would do such an ill thing to someone else? What happened to Ubuntu? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, Fana, you'd be surprised of the human nature out there.
Dude, that's why I saw humans for who they really are, bro. And I'm like, no ways, man. Like this is unacceptable, you know? And I burnt out to a point where anything to do with mental health triggered anxiety.
Oh yeah.
And for years, I think I was busy with mental health for about, I think, 3-4 years before I actually burnt out and I tapped out. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Because to a point where people would text me on a random day and I'm like, look, this is what I'm going through. How can you assist? How can I get through this and whatnot? You know. So to a point where on Facebook, we on our Wild Out page, we did a thing where we like DM us your story and would get people to comment words of encouragement or how you can move on or how you can best maneuver around the situation that you're in right now. We did that and people were literally sending like words of encouragement, solutions of how you can do this and this and this. So it was literally an environment where people came together and encouraged each other, you know. And it was beautiful to witness that someone you don't even know is willing to help you, is willing to spread a word of encouragement, is willing to assist in whichever way that they can, you know. And I burnt out. And in 2019, I got diagnosed with severe anxiety disorder.
Oh yeah.
And
What's that?
mental. So basically, severe anxiety disorder is the last level of anxiety that any person can have. Till today, I'm on chronic medication for that.
Do you like panic and stuff like that? And
Everything, bro. So this is how it first came about, and I didn't know, and which is a weird thing because I'm doing mental health awareness. Here I am going through mental health issues, and I'm like, this can't be me. At that point, I felt like a hypocrite because I'm like, I'm spreading words of encouragement, but here I am suffering. And one night I am studying, and out of nowhere I get a panic attack. My first ever panic attack ever. I felt like I was dying, bro. Like the walls were closing in. I was dizzy. I was lightheaded. I was sweating. I was all over the place, bro. And I went to my twin brother actually, and I told him, hey, dog, hey, hi, nyahamba boy. Like I'm dying, dog. He's like, nah, bro, you know, let's go speak to mom about it. And we spoke to my mom. My mom's like, okay, cool. I'll probably get you like someone to speak to next week. The next morning, my mom called and like, yo, look, come to my workplace. I got a doctor for you.
oh yeah.
Let's help you with that. You know.
Okay,
That
but
yeah.
looking at the reality of things, how do we actually notice the signs before it actually gets there? Because now you see the end product, but I'm pretty sure there's symptoms
There's symptoms to it. Yes.
that people might tend to overlook, you know, and especially in this platform that we're in.
Yeah.
Like, this is a student community, and there's a whole lot going on, bruv. Believe me when I tell
Very
you that.
true.
There's a whole lot.
Very
So
true.
How do we actually pay attention to certain gestures to our person doing so that we can notice good? No, man,
Yeah.
something's not right.
Yeah.
You know.
The biggest thing is when someone stops doing what they love doing.
Okay.
So if you love doing podcasting and Nick one day is like, I don't want to do this anymore, red flag. if Nick wakes up one
Shit.
day and is like, I don't want to talk to people, red flag. How? Like, you are that person, like you are running a podcast and you talk to people. Why don't you want to talk to people anymore? When you stop doing the things that you love, that's when you know there's something going on there.
Yeah.
And you start isolating yourself. When you isolate yourself, you don't want to be around friends, you don't want to be around people, you just want to be alone. And when things don't make you happy anymore, the things that you used to do would make you happy, but even doing them now doesn't make you happy. That's when you're like, yeah, no, there's a problem here, you know? And you just see someone, the way that they are, man, they don't care about life anymore. They dress however it is. They don't care about themselves or anyone because there's a battle happening in their mind, and that battles with themselves. Do you know what I mean? And that's one of the signs that you can easily play and be like, yo, like, you love podcasting now, you don't do it anymore. What's happening? Let's talk about it. You know, why don't you want to do this? What is the cause of this? Do you know what I mean? So when you stop loving the things that you do, that's the first thing. The other thing is isolation. When you isolate yourself, when you don't want to speak about things, something could be troubling you heavily, but you're silent about it. You could be in a group of friends chilling, but you are not there. Your mind is not there. You're just wandering somewhere else because of whatever it is that might be the problem. Do you know what I mean? So once those signs start to pop up, I think that's a very But that's a nudge to you. That's like, yo, dude, like, I get right, let's get them the help that they need, you know. And also creating a safe space where if people want to talk about things, let's talk about them. You know, especially amongst men. That happens so much. Where men will talk about everything other than their emotions.
True.
Men go to end up Kali. This side we cry. This side
Sakala,
mama. Hey. You know you get into the toilet and you close the door and then you slide down the door. Then you hit down, you start crying, you let it all out. No, guys.
It's kind of like, you know what? Nobody cares, man.
Yeah.
Let me just face it on. And it's sad, man.
Exactly. It
it's
really
sad,
is, bro, where we are ingrained and cultured in a society that says men should be strong. But who says crying is not strong, though? Do you know? Because we live in an age and society where it should be okay for a man to be like, yeah, I can't take this anymore. It's too much. That's why across the world, not even our country alone, across the world, the leading rate of suicide is men. It is men. Simply because there isn't that avenue or platform or environment where men can come together and talk about how they really feel. And at the center of it all, my brother, it's a thing of a safe environment. No one is ever going to talk about how they feel if they're not in a safe environment.
Exactly.
So that's the first thing, creating that environment where men can come together, talk about it, or even everyone else for that matter.
But then, dialing down back, what about those of us who are actually like, we love helping, but we hardly get the help back? Because as much as you can be there for people, it's also draining. You're human at the end of the day.
At the end of the day,
you can always be strong, but at the same time, you also need somebody to be strong on, you know, to be strong for you.
My question to that answer is, who is the Mncedi for you that you are for people? Who is helping you the way that you are helping other people?
Exactly.
Subconsciously, we help other people because that's the help that we want to get. I'll say it again. We help others because subconsciously that's the help that we wish to get from others. Well. And that's what eats away from us. That's why there's this thing about, we have strong friends. Who checks on that strong friend? Who checks on someone who's always checking on other people? Do you know what I mean? So my thing is always about, you are human at the end of the day. You do get tired. You do get burnt out. You do get your own problems to a point where you can't help other people. And it's okay to take a break and be like, look, I know I'm the strong friend, but at this point in time, I can't, guys. I've just got so much on my plate. I need you guys to be there for me now. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because if we don't call out these things, then these people are going to suffer in silence. No one's going to know. If you're very good at hiding things, no one's going to know you're going through things. People are like, oh, no, I've gone through so many things, but no one's helped me. But do you ask for help? Do you show that you're not okay? Because we have this habit of coming to people and saying, but this person didn't help me, but did they know you're going through that?
But you see with that, especially putting it in forms of like friend groups and also the problem is that the moment you got to kulum, people do not actually listen. Rather than go, okay, look, this is what's up, this is what I'm feeling, this is what's going on, and then the moment to boom, I'm on a kuluming intact, and then they just take all of that. It kind of creates an impression, flip. Then that means whatever I'm going through.
Why did I talk about it in the first place?
And then people from there just like, fucking no one cares.
So the important thing is listening. There's a 2-to-1 ratio. You've got 2 ears, 1 mouth. So use the 2 ears first before you use the mouth. Do you know what I mean? So listen to people more than you speak. Allow to listen. Without, people have this thing of when you talk, I went through this. People are like, also me, I went through this, and then diverse from that. And now
you see, you're now taking away
from that. Do you know what I mean?
The primary purpose was.
And then people start to invalidate how you feel. People start to be like, me, I went through worse, or I know umsis who went through so much was relaxed, so grand. But no, Uncle grand, Baba. I need help. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of whether this issue might be small to you, it's a huge issue to someone else.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't negate the fact that it's still an issue.
Exactly. That's what people don't understand. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I say we must always use that ratio. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth.
1 mouth.
Listen without saying a single thing. Let them finish speaking to a point where you're like, okay, I'm done. There's so much relief in talking about, in venting. I'm a huge advocate of vent. Vent out, dog. Whether it is in the form of screaming, crying, speaking, punching pillows,
street
fighting,
fight.
No, we don't condemn violence inside.
Just kidding.
So man, it's literally that, man, and allowing people to be themselves. And to express themselves fully without interruption, without giving them a lecture. People have this thing of like, no, man, just pray, so right. Or let's pray for you, so prayer doesn't solve everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does create hope though, but at the end of the day,
there's more you need to do than
more
prayer.
you need to do on top of that.
Exactly. So for me, that's what it is, man. Just ensuring that people listen without saying a word, listen without judgment, without fear of wanting to tell someone what to do, without advising. Let them speak, and then from there, you don't advise. Just give them the tools to help themselves. So, for example, if people come to me like, "Yo, look, I'm going through 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5," and I would then share my personal experience after they have spoken. I'm like, okay, look, I went through something similar. This is how I got through it. I don't know if it's going to help you, but this is how I went through it. And then from there, we talk about avenues as to, let's go see a therapist. Let's go see a counselor. Let's go see someone who's a professional who will be at adequate strength or resources to help you with this issue.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So at the center of it all, man, is just being there for people, bro, without judging. Yeah.
Flip.